Live from the Auction Community Studios on this Wednesday morning. It is the Wolf and Luke show. Wolf, what is going on over there?
Oh, man, here we go, Luke. A down in a hole Wednesday, is it not? It just is.
It's not great, I can tell you that.
Honestly, it doesn't feel great right now. I'm sure Diamondback fans that are out there, it feels like you're down in a hole.
Yeah, let's just start there. You want to start there?
Well, it's
start with the
brutal,
D-backs?
the brutality of it all.
I feel like yesterday I was accepting of, okay, lost to the Dodgers, that's fine. It's it's not fine, but it's acceptable, right? Okay, Zac Gallen lost. It's not ideal, but everybody's entitled to one bad start a season. Okay, whatever. And they got blown out again by the Dodgers. They got blown out on Monday, but Zac Gallen got lit up on Monday. Then they got blown out last night, and that was Merrill Kelly. And, okay, Merrill Kelly, similar boats to Zac Gallen. Everybody's entitled to have a bad start here and there once or twice a year. But do they have to be on back-to-back nights against that team?
Apparently.
They do.
Just see, okay, where do you start on this? With that, is that what you want to do right now? You want to start on that?
No.
Down in a hole because you had your two best pitchers, or very, very good pitchers, Ron Wolfley reporting, ladies and gentlemen, actually take the ball and get smoked like 250 pounds of salmon. Does it feel
It's
good?
a lot of salmon.
It does not feel good right now. And the worst part about it was the Diamondbacks should have jumped all over the Dodgers early in this game. They had the opportunity to do it. Basinonians, I say they should have done this. I understand the other guy gets credit as well. They're competing against the best of the best, but Clayton Kershaw was struggling in the first two innings, and they had their opportunity to jump on him, and they just couldn't do it. I have been there. I've had the opportunity to jump on somebody and drive them into the ground and failed. And haven't always done my job either. I know what it's like to do that. I do. So when I say that with great respect and reserve, knowing that I have failed many times myself. They had an opportunity to jump on Clayton Kershaw, and they could not do it.
No, and, maybe it's a different game if they do. Again, big picture, this is 2 out of 162 games. They lost to maybe the hottest team in baseball right now. I know the Brewers have won a ton in a row, but overall the Dodgers are 33 games above 500. And we know that the Diamondbacks were ahead of them for basically the entire first half of the season in the standings. So obviously the Dodgers have played much better of late. This is what they do. You can write it off, and ultimately that's what you have to do. And we're going to talk to Mike Hazen later on in the show. I'll be interested to hear how he processes it, because he doesn't just they could go 161-1, and Hazen would be like, why did we lose that one game? So it'll be interesting to get his thoughts on this. But, the other side of it is maybe it's just a reality check. I don't really feel like I need reality checks. Isn't life a reality check? But you feel good about the Diamondbacks and where they're going, and then Zac Gallen and Merrill Kelly both get lit up by a team that they would most likely face in the playoffs at some point.
Yeah, I love that right there. Both of them?
Yeah, give me one. Just give me one.
That was the one thing we were saying. Can I get greedy on this, my brothers? Can I say I really thought, is there anybody you'd want taking the ball more than Merrill Kelly? He does have a history, though, against the Dodgers.
Well, everybody does. Everybody.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not just the Diamondbacks.
Yet at the same time, were you confident going into last night? Were you confident saying there's no way in the world he's going to go out there and give up 3 runs in the first inning? That's the good news. That's exactly what happened.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly what happened right there. And it could not stop the bleeding in the second inning or the third inning, for that matter. And that's what really, this thing was over. It felt over early on. And, man, rarely have we ever said that about the Diamondbacks, but it kind of felt like they were down in a hole as well.
Maybe this is maybe it's not as bad as it seems. I mean, you and I were talking the other day, and the Cincinnati series, D-backs win 3 out of 4, right? That's huge. You win 3 out of 4. But your first thought was like, they should have won that game on Saturday too. And I remember we talked about this. We're like, well, maybe that's because every time the Diamondbacks lose, it feels like they're winning in the 9th before they lose, or they lose a game that's 5-4 or 4-3 or 6-5. You know what? Last night they just got blown out. And it was non-competitive. It was a lopsided loss. It was one of the few times all season I can remember thinking in like the 7th inning, like they're not coming back in this game. And
I know. That was brutal.
It's a good thing that you can probably count on one hand how many times that's happened, and we're 133 games into the season. I'm not worried about Merrill Kelly. I'm not worried about Zac Gallen, but it is kind of it's just a cold hard reality check.
It's all over.
That if you go into a series against the Dodgers in the playoffs, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, once again, I just want to go back to the opportunity that was there in the first couple of innings. They had four guys on base. They had some ducks on the pond right there, and Clayton Kershaw was definitely struggling. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. came up and couldn't take advantage of that opportunity. Gabby Moreno as well couldn't drive in runs with ducks on the pond. 2 opportunities to actually get to Kershaw and get to him early, and they failed. And once again, I know what it's like to go out there and fail, ladies and gentlemen. I have done it multiple times. But to think that Merrill Kelly would go out and take the ball and give up 3 runs, and again, it could not stop the bleeding in the second or the 3rd inning for that matter. It just put them behind the 8 ball, metaphorically speaking, right from the get-go. And I don't know if it had any psychological impact on the Diamondbacks where their 2 best guys took the ball and went out there and immediately from the jump, you're down in this game. And even if it did, based on our needs, you know what? Just stay. Walk through it, man. Do your job. Walk through it. This is what you do. You're a professional athlete. Not everything's going to go your way. You have to be resilient. You have to be tough. And yet at the same time, we're talking about human beings that are playing the game. Would it put you down in a hole?
I think
it would.
Ultimately, there's 2 ways to look at this, right? I guess there's more than 2 ways. Again, you have to keep the perspective of it's 2 games out of 162. But the last 2 games, you can either look at it as a reflection on the Diamondbacks, and maybe they're not there yet, or a reflection of the Dodgers of how good they are. Neither one of those is a great feeling if you're a Diamondbacks fan. I'm pretty confident this is more a reflection of the Dodgers and just how good they are. And yeah, I guess that's probably the better option.
I would say that. I would also say, too, just in regard to how they got beat the last 2 games by the Dodgers, I would also say that this is a reflection of where the Diamondbacks definitely are. They are a wild card team.
Yeah.
They are. And this is right where I think they should be. They are fighting. They're out of the wild card. Ron Wolfley reporting right now. They're out of the wild card right now. If the playoffs started now, Luke Lipinski, they would not be in the playoffs.
They'd be out.
They'd be a half game out right now. So this is the way I think it's going to be the rest of the way. It's about the Diamondbacks and how they play, but I think they're going to be right there. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to enjoy it.
You got to survive this week.
I did enjoy the last 2 games, but I'm going to enjoy this one.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And look, it's always tougher with the Dodgers because it's hard to not think big picture. When you say, hey, the Diamondbacks are right there in the wild card race and we're basically going in September, that's great. They're ahead of schedule. I'm not worried about the Diamondbacks.
Well, especially when you were 12-3 in your last 15 games before the series, right?
Yes.
It felt really, really good. That's it. The bleeding is over.
Ultimately, where you're trying to get, though, is better than the Dodgers. I'm not saying this year, but ultimately, and you just see that team when they are playing the way they are, and it's just like, really? Freddie Freeman didn't even have a hit last night. What does that happen, like once every 2 years?
Yeah.
And they still put up 9?